and welcome to another episode of A Wagging Success. Today we have Philip with us as always. Philip, hi, welcome. It's been a long time now.
Yeah, hello, Tersia. I hope you guys are all well up there. I believe it's rather chilly up your side.
Definitely. The winter hasn't left us yet.
Yeah, and this side it's just wind, 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 and more wind. But it's our windy season now. Bit late, but it's yeah.
It comes and it goes. But today we have a very interesting topic to discuss whether you're getting out of the house with your dog or not, preferably when you're staying in. I hope you're watching this video so that when you go out, you can make some smart choices. Today we're talking about whether you should be using a collar on your dog, a collar that goes around the neck versus a harness. So essentially, we're talking a little bit about training tools because a collar and a harness are training and walking tools with your dog. Right, Philip?
Absolutely, yes.
So one of the questions that we get most often especially when we get in new clients, is they'll tell us, okay, I have all of these different collars and harnesses. Which one should I use? Or we get people very excited with their new puppy coming to us and say, okay, well, look at the cute harness I bought him. Look at this collar I bought him. And your layman often relies on advice from the internet about what's the best tools to use. So we thought let's address that quickly today. What's best, a collar or a harness? Or is there something like the right choice? Does it depend? Let's hear, Philip.
Okay, so I've always maintained that a harness is for a well-trained dog that needs freedom of movement while he's working. And the smaller breeds, the Yorkies and the Toy Poms and all the rest of it, those dogs can wear harnesses. There's no problem with it. But when you start getting to the medium-sized dogs, the more powerful dogs, you must be very careful of the harness because if that dog gets in front of you and it's in a harness, it becomes very powerful.
Yes, tell us why,
because
please.
because you're fighting the neck, you're fighting the shoulders, you're fighting the back, the hindquarters. All those things make the dog very powerful. And now
So
it's in front of you and it's pulling, it's going.
So essentially, you're just then up against the dog's full strength, using his entire body into that harness.
Absolutely. You, if you don't have a plot or two, you're definitely going to find some that you don't like, but you're going to meet them because that's where you fall and that's where a lot of people get hurt. Okay. When you got a collar around the neck, I don't have a problem with wearing a standard collar at home with the telephone number and on it, contact details and so on. But when you're out there, wherever you may be, walking your dog, you must remember that a collar should have a 2-finger gap on the bottom. And what that does, it allows the dog to pull its head out of the collar. And they actually learn very quickly that if they just reverse and pull the head down, the collar goes off. So standard collar at home around the area in case the dog escapes or gets out. But I like the little check collars. It's that collar with a little link chain in it, which is adjustable. So you can put your leash on and adjust it so that it's not throttling the dog. But when it tightens up, it's just tight enough that the dog can't get his head out of it.
Philip,
And
there's another thing that we often see is that when a dog struggles to walk on leash and they're walking with a normal flat collar, there's the risk, like you mentioned, of them pulling their head out. And
yes,
people's fix for that is to, when they go out, tighten the collar so much that the dog cannot get their head out. That's not ideal because then you're choking your dog.
yeah. No, that's cruel because no dog's happy with that. And then you've got the dog on a tight leash also, and the dog's in the counterbalance mode. So the more you pulling, the more the dog's pulling. So it just doesn't work. And this is why it's so important to um, know your dog, know that your obedience levels must be very good and your leash work must be excellent. Because if your leash work is good, you never have that problem. And another reason for having a dog on a collar is that if anything escalates or there's a problem, you can pull the dog to the side and you can pull him off balance. Where with a harness, there's just no way you're going to do it. Okay, he's not going to respond to that. So again, as I say, the smaller breeds out there on their harnesses, I love them. That's fine. But when you start to getting to the middle range dogs and the bigger breeds, the guys, stay away from the harness. Get it on the neck because then you can control it. And unfortunately, we have some situations where the pet shops selling these items are misinformed, number one. And number two, their product knowledge is very poor. And then we get this uh, cruelty thing creeping in. Everybody who has a collar around the neck is cruel. It's not.
Oh, oh, absolutely. One of the things that you'll often hear, again, just generally amongst dog people and on the dog internet, is that putting a collar around your dog's neck to take them for a walk is cruel because the dog's going to get tracheal damage from pulling into that collar. So a harness is the safest option. This is a very important distinction to make. This collar is not the thing that's hurting them. The fact that you are taking them out on a walk while they're pulling so much that they're nearly choking themselves out, that is the danger. If you are walking with your dog to the fact or to the point where they heave and cough from pulling into that collar, you are putting your dog in a situation that they weren't ready for. Come back home, start your training, take your dog out at a more reasonable pace.
It's all about training, training, training. You're not going to achieve anything with even with a harness, with a working dog that's in a harness. You're not going to achieve anything if it's not trained. It's like giving me a pen and saying write your name, and I've never been taught to write. Um, I have no idea, and if your dog doesn't have any idea, how is he going to respond? And then the dog starts getting hurt. He becomes fearful of the leash and the collar, um, and it just becomes chaos. So again, get your puppy, start the right way, train the correct way, make sure you're taught how to walk your dog on a leash, how to control your dog, and combine everything with that. I mean, your reactivity, your area adaptation, your socialization, everything. And
So,
make it nice for your dog.
one very important distinction that I want to highlight here, because it's so important, is that Philip just said, make sure you are taught how to teach your dog how to walk on a leash. Not make sure your dog is taught how to walk on a leash. Make sure you are taught because that's where dog training begins. That's where our whole philosophy has been and always will be from the start. The people must know first. If you have the skills, then you can teach your dog. Um, we always tell people we teach you and you teach your dog. Make sure you know how to train your dog.
We are not with you 24/7. So you have to know how to work with your dog. You have to learn. You have to learn everything there is about your dog. And that includes how your dog reacts to collars and leashes and everything. So yes, our target is to train you to be able to work with your dog.
There's a very important last thing that I want to highlight that Philip always says. He taught me this at the very beginning when we started training, and he said that a leash is your line of communication to your dog. Place that line of communication where it is effective. Around the neck, it is effective. Now, what you communicate to your dog should never be cruel, should never be unkind, but it should be clear and effective, otherwise, you're going nowhere. The way you place your leash, whether it's on a collar or a harness, is going to be important and make a difference.
Some people have difficulty with just the collar as well. I have on many occasions used a harness with a collar, a combination of the two. It just gives a bigger dog, it gives more control. Some people are fearful that the collar breaks or the leash breaks, whatever. But when you've got the two combined, it works very well. But still, you have to train your dog to walk in the right place. Because even with a collar, if he gets in front of you and he goes into the forward counterbalance, he's going to be pulling all the time. And you're going to be pulling back, trying to hold him back all the time. So it just boils down to training. Train the individual and then assist the individual to train the dog. It is vital.
Remember that when you start working with your dog, and you have to consider what you are going to use to walk your dog, to drive with your dog, to go to the beach with your dog. It's never about the tools, okay? A collar isn't going to fix a dog pulling on a leash. A harness isn't going to fix a dog pulling on a leash. The tools are just that, it's tools, and it's all about how you use them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So please, if you don't know how, get in touch with us.
We will teach you. That's it for us today.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Philip.
Thank you so much, Tersia, and take care up there. And to everybody, please like, subscribe. Vitally important that we can assist.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye.